So we've got a real head scratcher today. Seriously, what is going on with the markets? You've got precious metals like gold and silver absolutely soaring, but at the same time, Bitcoin, the asset everyone calls digital gold, is just taking a nosedive. The roles have completely flipped. So let's get into it and try to figure this thing out.
I mean, just look at this. On one hand, gold and silver are acting like some kind of wild crypto bull run, right? We're seeing these huge rallies, massive volatility. And then over here, you've got Bitcoin, which is just falling hard. It's bizarre. It's like the two markets woke up and decided to swap personalities for a week.
Right. So that's the big question. And to get to the bottom of it, we first need to understand the mood, the vibe in the crypto market right now, because that's where the first clues are hiding. Okay, first things first, let's take the market's temperature, the emotional state of investors. That often tells you a lot more than just the numbers, at least at first. And right now, the story it's telling is, well, it's one of fear. This right here is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and it's painting a really clear picture. We are way down at a score of 16, which is deep in the extreme fear zone. Now, you've probably heard that classic Warren Buffett line, right? Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. So, by that logic, some people are looking at this and thinking, maybe this is a buying opportunity. And here's the hard data that's causing all that fear. We're talking a 6% drop in a single day, 8% down over the week, and a really painful 13% haircut over the last 2 weeks. Look, these aren't just little dips. This is a pretty significant slide that has a lot of people feeling really nervous.
So we know the what and we know the how much, but now we get to the really interesting part, the why. And here's the twist. The answer isn't really in the crypto world at all. Nope. It's coming from a place you might not expect.
In fact, you could pretty much trace this entire crypto dip back to one single surprising source, one of the biggest, most powerful tech companies on the entire planet. And there it is, Microsoft. A 10% drop in its stock price after a pretty disappointing earnings report. Now, I know what you're thinking. What in the world does a software company have to do with Bitcoin? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot more than you'd think. It's all about the domino effect. This breaks it down perfectly. So Microsoft's earnings came out, and they basically suggested that all those billions they're pouring into AI, well, they aren't paying off as fast as Wall Street wanted. That one bit of news sent a wave of fear through the entire tech sector. So other AI and tech stocks started selling off. And because those giant companies are such a huge piece of the stock market, their dip pulled the whole market down. And Bitcoin? Instead of being a safe place to hide, it just went right down with them.
And this is the absolute key to understanding what's happening. Bitcoin is basically having an identity crisis. It's supposed to be this separate thing, a hedge, digital gold, right? But instead, it's acting just like another risky tech stock. There's this high correlation because a lot of big institutional investors, they just lump it into the same bucket as their other high-growth, high-risk tech plays. So when they get nervous about tech, they sell everything, and that includes their Bitcoin.
Okay, so let's switch gears and look at the other side of this weird paradox. While Bitcoin is over there acting like a tech stock, gold is telling a completely different story. And its story is about the health of the entire global economy. Just get a load of this number. In the last year alone, a staggering $16 trillion in value has been added to gold's market cap. This isn't just some small trend, you guys. This is a monumental global shift of capital into gold. And the volatility has just been off the charts. The gold market saw a $5.5 trillion swing in one day. To put that in perspective for you, that is more than 3 times the entire value of Bitcoin swinging around in just a matter of hours. It's wild. And you want to know who's doing a lot of the buying? Central banks. Countries all over the world are snapping up gold at a pace we haven't seen in decades. And here's a crazy stat to show you what I mean. A single country, Poland, now holds more gold than the entire European Central Bank. This is a massive global trend. So why are they all doing this? Well, the legendary investor Ray Dalio just nails the reason. He says all fiat currencies are buried in debt, and because of that, central banks are losing faith in government-backed money, like the US dollar. So what are they doing? They're going back to gold, the one asset that's proven to hold its value for thousands and thousands of years.
So if Bitcoin is temporarily stuck acting like a tech stock and gold is the safe bet for central banks, where does that leave Bitcoin? What's the future look like? Does it still have a shot at becoming that digital store of value everyone talks about?
I think this slide really puts the whole challenge into perspective. On one side, you've got gold. It has an 8,000-year-old belief system backing it up. It has been the trusted store of value for literally millennia. And on the other side, Bitcoin? It's only been around for about 15 years. Building that kind of deep generational trust, that just takes time. But there are some really powerful reasons to be optimistic for the long run. We could get a new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, who is known to be extremely pro-Bitcoin. The regulators are finally starting to work together on clear rules, which would be huge. You have entire nations like El Salvador buying Bitcoin every single day. And the big one, Wall Street giants are investing in it precisely because they see it as a long-term store value, even if it isn't quite acting like it today. And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We're in the middle of this global search for a reliable place to store value. Gold is the old guard, built on thousands of years of trust. Bitcoin is the new digital challenger, built for a new kind of world. The real question is, as our world keeps changing, which one of these assets is ultimately going to be the one that best holds its value over time?